Coming up on Mornings on the Hill, the community says Brown Memorial Church is a beacon of light for the community.
I believe that we here as a church, we have that mission that we are going to continue to be a beacon of light here.
After Joe Girard beat the Orange in his return to the Dome, SU travels down to South Carolina for a crucial conference matchup.
And it's practically been summer lately, but is it going to stay that way? I'll let you know. That and much more coming up on Mornings on the Hill.
Good morning. I'm Josh Crawford. Thanks for joining us for Mornings on the Hill.
And I'm Dipanjali Sharma. Here's a look at today's top story.
Well, folks, no snow today as the warm temperatures continue to rise for Syracuse. Our Zach Priest has a look at it. Zach, what you got?
Thanks, guys. Not quite the balmy temperatures we've had of late, but hey, 53 in March, can't complain too much. We've got about 65% humidity today and a small 9-mile-per-hour breeze coming south-southeast. There's a chance for a couple showers later in the day, but you know what? Like I said, 65 degrees in March in the northeast. Can't be too mad. I'll have the rest of your weather forecast later. For now, back to you guys in the studio.
Got it, Bosley. Got it.
Yesterday was another record day for Syracuse. Temperatures reached 71 degrees, shattering the 1974 record of 63 degrees.
According to Syracuse.com, this winter has been the warmest on record. Students have been taking advantage, enjoying the weather, and spending more time outside on the promenade and the quad. A few weeks ago, SU's men's March Madness chances were merely a pipe dream. However, after a big-time win in the Dome against UNC, Adrian Autry's team has managed to keep their dreams of getting to the big dance alive. Patty?
Yeah, thanks, Josh. Thanks, Josh. The SU's postseason hopes could very well come down to tonight's game. The Orange hitting the road to face old friend Joe Girard and the Clemson Tigers. SU is riding a 4-game winning streak into this one, while the Tigers are coming off a loss at Notre Dame. The Orange are looking to come down with the win, and if they do, it would go down as a quadrant 1 win and help improve the team's net ranking, along with also keeping hopes alive for a double bye in the ACC tournament. I'll take a longer look at this one later in sports. Back to you guys.
Well, she had to deal with a few weather delays before she blasted off, but Syracuse native Janet Epps is now abroad in the International Space Station. Epps and her crew landing early this morning after taking off on Sunday night. The mission taking 28 hours, the flight was originally supposed to launch on Friday, and a subsequent attempt on Saturday was also cancelled. Epps grew up on the south side of Syracuse and earned degrees from Corcoran School and Lemoyne College.
More trouble at Lincoln Middle on Syracuse East Side. Police arresting a parent for making threats of mass harm on Monday.
According to authorities, 44-year-old Dawn Torres called the school saying she had a weapon and would come to the property and use it. That threat occurring less than 3 weeks after another parent was arrested for assaulting a teacher at Lincoln. One Westside church is calling on elected officials to pay attention to the Westside's underserved communities. Brown Memorial United Methodist Church hosts different programs to help residents, but it's facing one major problem. Our Whitney Williams tells us more about the church work and the challenge it faces.
Yes, Dipanjali, one of Brown Memorial's primary missions is to help the underserved community in the West Side. Now, they've been doing this for over 10 years through hosting various programs. One of these programs is the Life Skills Workshop. Now, at the Life Skills Workshop, participants can learn and develop new skills, whether it's because they want to learn a new hobby or even taking these skills and helping them to get jobs. I spoke to the pastor at Brown Memorial, Pastor Nola Anderson, and she told me that workshops like this are important and vital to the West Side community, especially at a time where there is a surge in crime and poverty rates. She told me that she has personally seen a change in the lives of workshop participants. But she says the church is facing one major challenge, and that is the lack of manpower and volunteers to keep these workshops going.
There's often the challenge of finding individuals who are willing to come to the west side of Syracuse. So I think people who are not afraid of the West Side, people who are willing to volunteer, offer their time an hour a week, would be helpful.
The Life Skills Workshop is held twice a week and sees about 10 to 15 participants. In addition to the workshop, Brown Memorial hosts a Feed the Hungry program, and this program provides fresh meals for anyone in need every Sunday at 3 p.m. The church also prepares care packages containing perishable and non-perishable food items to feed over 300 families every month. Pastor Anderson told me that Brown Memorial wants to continue to be a beacon of light in the community, and she's making an appeal for more volunteers who will work in and help manage these programs. She said in addition to volunteers, they need donations so that they can feed more families on a monthly basis. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Whitney Williams.
Thanks, Whitney. It's Super Tuesday, a big day for U.S. politics. Today lumped together key primaries in several states, including California, North Carolina, Texas, and Virginia. Republicans are defending a razor-thin majority in the House. California and Texas are hosting state primaries. Republicans need to pick up 2 Senate states to win the majority there, depending on who wins the White House. For the presidential race, there are 15 contests for Republicans and 16 contests for Democrats. It's been a relatively easy pass so far for President Joe Biden and Donald Trump. The real question is whether Nikki Haley can gain any traction to challenge Trump for the Republican presidential nomination.
Syracuse University's Office of Multicultural Affairs hosted its Dare to Dream Gala, a black tie event that welcomed Grammy Award-winning artist Leon Thomas III. Zatazia joins us live to tell us more. Zatazia?
Hey, thank you so much, Dipanjali. That's right. Just past this Sunday, it was really amazing seeing how this event sold out. SU students got an amazing show and also an amazing dinner for absolutely free. Let's take a look here.
SU's Black History Month festivities culminated into Sunday's gala. The night began with faculty and students entering the Goldstein Auditorium to enjoy a catered buffet, a 360 photo booth, a DJ, and themed backdrops. Just before the evening's program, I spoke with Gabrielle Pinkney, a senior in music industry and African American studies. She was particularly looking forward to the gala's headliner.
I'm super excited for this event. It's a wonderful way to wrap up Black History Month, so I'm excited to see what the gala has in store. I'm excited for the food, the fellowship, and of course Leon Thomas. I love Leon Thomas. He's an amazing artist. I can't wait for him to perform.
The program opened with student MCs who warmed the crowd with their humor and excitement for what the evening was to bring. Remarks were also given by Deshaun Austin, the Office of Multicultural Affairs' coordinator, just before students graced the stage. Live performances included songs from student singers, dancers, and even poets. After the student performers, Thomas gave an awe-inspiring set featuring the hit song he co-produced and won a Grammy for earlier this year, SZA's Snooze.
Even after the event, I overheard so many students talking about how glad they were that he performed Snooze. And also, it was just a full circle moment for those of us who grew up watching him on Nickelodeon as Andre, the real No. For Mornings on the Hill, I'm Zatazia Duffy. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Zatazia. Coming up on Mornings on the Hill, more on the nice weather in Syracuse.
And spring break travel advisors in Miami Beach and Mexico. Stay with us. Time to check in on the continued unseasonably warm weather.
Not quite as warm today, but not exactly frigid either. Let's check in with Zach Priest for our forecast.
Thanks, guys. The warm temps continue, not quite as warm, but still quite nice. We're sitting right around 53 right now with a humidity of 65% and a slight breeze. As the day goes on, we'll move into the mid to high 50s, topping out around 58 degrees at 4 p.m., and the clouds are going to stick around all day long. So how about tomorrow? Tomorrow, Cools off just a bit as temps start out around 50 with some rain in the morning, and that's going to be a theme we see throughout the day. But by the time I get out of bed, it'll be closer to 53. You know, I'm already mentally in spring break, so I'm taking that extra rest however I can get it. It'll still be raining then, so that'll be one consistent regardless of how often my sleep patterns are. Later on, we continue to see rain as it dips back down to that 50-degree mark. And finally, on the other end of my bad sleep schedule, way over here, the rain continues while temps drop to the low 40s. Now, you're looking to make some extended plans. Looking ahead, what do we got? As we said, tomorrow is rain, rain, and more rain. So I'll leave that with that. And Thursday, the same temperature-wise at the top end, well, the low plummets to 32. Usually an acceptable high for this time of year, but we'll take that as a low. The rain stops on Thursday and the sun peeps out. So if you're brave enough, maybe shed the raincoats and stick to maybe a long sleeve and a hoodie. I definitely won't be wearing this, I'll tell you that. So you should be good there. Heading into Friday and spring break, you know, not that that's the only thing on my mind or anything, but just a side note. Anyways, I digress. Temps back near 60 all the way over here on Friday as the sun continues to peep through. So yet another chance to get away with some shorts in March. Now into the weekend, and oh boy, guys, time to bring out the parkas, or maybe two if you're Josh from Tennessee. Anyways, as it dips to 51 with some showers likely as well. So now finally we head to Sunday, and we're way over here now on Sunday. Let me get used to this. Sunday dropping down is 44, a high, with dropping down to the low 20s and possible rain and snow. So unironically this time, it's going to be a good idea to get those coats out, as Josh will likely be looking like that kid from A Christmas Story with 1,000 coats on who can't move his arms and legs. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Zach. You know, got to get that sleep schedule fixed, buddy. A special visitor to the Newhouse school earlier this week.
CBS News reporter Scott McFlaurin, a member of the class of 1998 in our broadcast and digital journalism program, provided a workshop for some of our broadcast students, including members of the Mornings on the Hill team. Scott provided valuable tips on live reporting and discussed some of his recent work. Scott is the leading White House reporter for CBS News and has provided wall-to-wall coverage of the January 6th riots in the nation's capital, along with court proceedings for those who were charged. Scott was in town for a reunion involving students from WJPZ, otherwise known as Z89. Scott, from all of us here on the Mornings on the Hill, thanks for your time and talents.
5 people are dead after a small plane crashed near a highway in Nashville, Tennessee. The single-engine plane crashed just off of Interstate 40 and shut down multiple lanes of the highway. The National Transportation Safety Board and the FAA are investigating the incident.
With spring break around the corner, the U.S. State Department is warning Americans traveling to Mexico. Mexico is listed as a level 2 advisory, meaning travelers should use increased caution due to violent crime.
The State Department recommends traveling in groups, using vigilance, and avoiding crime-heavy areas. For the full list of areas to avoid, visit travel.state.gov. Coming up, you'll hear how the Mornings on the Hill staff is spending their spring break. President Joe Biden is tracking down price gouging across several industries. He has launched a new strike force that will root out illegal and unfair price hikes for prescription drugs, healthcare, groceries, and housing.
The Biden administration has also unveiled a new rule from the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau that slashes credit card late fees. Biden is focusing on one day-to-day issue that impacts Americans as he plans to sell his economic vision in his State of the Union address Thursday. Whole Foods Market will be soon launching smaller stores. They'll be called Whole Foods Market Daily Shop, and they are meant for urban areas.
The company says the stores will be less than half the size of the traditional Whole Foods stores. Despite its smaller size, Whole Foods says customers will still be able to pick up grab-and-go meals, recipe ingredients, and weekly grocery essentials. The first will launch in New York City this year, and the company plans to bring the format to other cities. Coming up on Mornings on the Hills, can SU men's basketball get a crucial win tonight?
And SU's women's basketball is gearing up for the ACC tournament.
Good morning, I'm Patrick Smith with your Orange Sports Update here on Mornings on the Hill. It all comes down tonight for the Syracuse men's basketball team as they will face Clemson and Joe Girard at 7 p.m. in their last regular season game of the season. So we take a look at it. Syracuse, 11 ACC wins for the first time since 2013-2014 season. And now to take on to that second bubble point, a 4-game win streak for the Orange with that 85.3 points a game in their average through that 4-game winning streak. Now their season average has been 76. So it's looked a lot better for Syracuse these last 4 games. Now for Clemson, They were on a 3-game winning streak. They lost to Notre Dame a few days ago. That really helped Syracuse's chances for the ACC tournament and a higher seed. Syracuse just a half game ahead of Clemson for the 4th seed in the ACC tournament. The Orange can get anywhere from the 4th seed to the 7th seed. Now, back in early February, Syracuse lost to Clemson 77-68 inside the JMA Dome. After last month's loss, head coach Adrian Autry spoke on kind of what the problem was throughout that game.
The first half, it was really about our offense. We held them down to about 30 points. Then they got going late, which pushed it up to 37. But I thought our defense for the first part of the half was good. It's just our offense was bad. We were stagnant, didn't move the ball.
Coach Autry there saying that the offense, frankly, did not move the ball, and well, they have been doing that so far. They're right on they're back on the right tracks through these last 4 games. So we're going to see if they can keep that going tonight and get that final win in the regular season. We're going to send it over to our Mike Ostrowski, who has updates on the Orange women's teams. Mike.
Patty, the final AP poll of the season is out for women's basketball, and for the 7th straight week, SU made the cut. The Orange finished the regular season ranked number 20 in the country, and let's face it, they deserve it. Felicia Liggett-Jack and her family of players went 23-6, the most regular season wins since 2015-16. That's when the program won a record 24 games, and then they made it all the way to the national championship. Faced NC State on Thursday, but after tying the game in the literal last second here, the Orange would end up falling to the Wolfpack in overtime. Even with the loss, there's still a real chance for them to host NCAA tournament games in the Dome. They just need to do well in the ACC tournament first. The Orange earned the double bye and don't have to suit up again until Friday to play the winner of Florida State in the 11-14 matchup between Virginia and Wake Forest. Cuse likely needs 2 wins to get bumped into the top 16 and the Dome court advantage. Elsewhere in women's sports, Syracuse softball had their first taste of ACC play this past weekend in Durham, but number 6 Duke was in total control. The Blue Devils shut out the Orange in 3 straight games for the series sweep. Sunday's finale was the closest, with all 3 Duke runs coming off this bloop triple down the right field line. The Orange have a slight break before facing Lemoyne College in Virginia. The 2 CNY programs kick off a tournament in Norfolk Monday morning at 11. And number 5 women's lacrosse hosts number 12 Stony Brook inside the Dome tonight. Kayla Trainer's team won their last game 15-8 over Duke on Saturday. Now the Orange are looking for a 3rd victory over a ranked opponent. The opening draw is set for 6. That's all for your women's sports update. Now back to you, Patty.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. It's rivalry week for the Syracuse men's lacrosse team, as 2 of the most prestigious lacrosse programs will face off on Saturday. Number 9, Syracuse, and number 2, Johns Hopkins, will face off at 6:30 p.m. in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hopkins arguably being one of the top teams in the nation with how they played so far, beating both Virginia and North Carolina. They're 5-1 so far, and frankly, they beat Georgetown, Loyola Maryland, and Towson. Those are top teams in the nation, and their only loss coming to number 1 Denver, 13-12 in overtime. Now Syracuse, on the other hand, is 5-2 this season, with both of their losses coming to top 5 teams, both in overtime. That's going to do it for our sports update today.
Finally this morning, the countdown continues to spring break.
This morning, we asked our fellow staffers what they're planning to do next week.
Now, what are your plans for spring break?
Well, Phil the Groundhog said that we're going to get 2... No, sorry, what was it?
Take 2.
What was it? What did he say?
What are you doing for spring break?
I'm going to Colorado. I'm going to ski a little bit. I got to stay in the winter mood. It's still winter. We got to get away from this fall spring in Syracuse.
Gonna head back to the great state of Michigan. Gonna be a long drive, but a lot of pickup basketballs probably in my future, and hopefully some warm weather and a lot of conference tournament, a lot of small conference tournament watching. It's that time of year.
What are your plans for spring break?
So I'll actually be going to North Carolina to the HBCU there. I'm going to be training for the NABJ short course.
Is it North Carolina A&T?
Yes.
Come on now, Aggie Pride. It ain't my HBCU, but we ride for our own.
What are your plans for spring break?
I'm actually solo traveling to Hawaii.
Just sort of traveling to Hawaii? Where, which island? And tell us.
Waikiki for the whole 7 days, yeah.
And how did you decide on going to Hawaii?
It's my birthday this weekend and I really wanted to go to Hawaii, so I planned it out all and I'm going.
And she needs to tell you that she's going to be skydiving.
Yeah, I'm skydiving on my birthday.
How could you leave that out?
That's amazing, yeah.
How did you decide on skydiving? How did you guys decide to do this?
It's been on my bucket list for like ages now, and I just figured it's my birthday. I don't have like anything else to do, so I'm just gonna go skydive.
The question this morning, what are you doing for spring break?
I'm going to Brazil with my roommates. I'm super excited. Gonna go down to Sao Paulo and then a little beach, Praia do Forte. It'll be fun. Can't wait.
How did you pick that location?
My roommate is from Brazil, born and raised, so he knows everything about Brazil. He's wanted to take us down there, and I can't wait to be there.
I'm just going home back to Connecticut, just kind of relaxing, having a nice week. So yeah.
All right, Mike, what are you doing for spring break?
I am heading back home to the Electric City, Scranton, PA. Just spending some time with my family. It's been a while since I've seen everyone, so it'll be nice to take it easy for a couple of days. Hopefully enjoy some warm weather and cool off inside at some hockey games.
I'm headed down to Florida, to PGA-ville with my wonderful girlfriend. So getting out of the upstate New York weather. Memphis and FAU actually play the day I get down there. Big American Conference matchup. We already beat them in the form. So if Penny gonna get back to the tournament, we got to beat them on Saturday. And considering I'll be in the state of Florida, I consider myself good mojo.
So like Josh, I am also heading down to Florida, Miami to be exact. I am craving some warm weather. So I'm just gonna be relaxing out there with some friends for a week, going to the beach, going to some brunch, having a couple of mimosas and just relaxing and, you know, refreshing myself before we come back for the remainder of the semester.
Alrighty, Jonathan. Jonathan, what are you doing for spring break?
I'm going to Paradise, Syracuse, New York. Where else would you rather be?
That's going to do it for us this Wednesday here on Mornings on the Hill.
We'll see you next Wednesday, live at 10 a.m. here on OTN.